We are Siouxland proud. This is KCAU 9 News at 5.
And good Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for being with us today. I'm Tim Seaman. The Trump administration is continuing its efforts to cut much of the federal government and is being met with dozens of legal challenges. The latest announced targets include the Internal Revenue Service as well as the Social Security Administration. KCAU 9 Washington correspondent Vinay Simlat has an update on the situation in our top story today at 5 o'clock.
After a Wednesday hearing, Judge Carl Nichols, a Trump appointee, kept in place an order stopping the Trump administration from putting USAID workers on administrative leave. President Donald Trump and his ally Elon Musk pushed for USAID and other agencies to close. Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer says he wants them to be more careful.
Of course there's some wasteful spending, but you don't use a meat axe and cut everything.
USAID provides foreign aid around the world. In that lawsuit, a USAID worker overseas says their pregnant wife suffered a hemorrhage because she couldn't get a medical evacuation flight. That employee wrote, "Now I'm afraid for her and my baby's health because of this rushed, haphazard, cruel push to shut down our agency." On Wednesday, protesters came to the Department of Health and Human Services, some of them academic researchers, protesting a stop in government funding for some scientific research and grants.
They are not enemies of anybody. They're working for public.
Emine Kumchu says her daughter is now on leave from the FDA. She checked medical devices for safety. White House advisor Stephen Miller and Republican senators say President Trump is allowed to trim the federal workforce.
The pre-existing bureaucracy was elected by nobody.
The new administration is giving a very careful scrub to the government.
And the White House says the president has the final say, not Elon Musk. In Washington, I'm Vinay Simlat.
Closer to home today, the State Department of Education and Iowa lawmakers there in Des Moines working toward a bill to increase math literacy in the state. Earlier this month, you may remember Governor Reynolds introduced a bill that would help improve students' math proficiency. That measure would require early screening and targeted intervention for students struggling in the subject. There was not a whole lot of opposition to that bill today during that session, but there were concerns voiced about the time it may take to intervene with students.
We're not adding additional time to the school day, to the calendar. We again agree with the goal. We just want to make sure that we are not setting ourselves up for failure.
The civics portion is in this bill, and it was ultimately removed today. It would have required students 9th through 12th grades to get a 60% on a U.S. citizenship test to graduate from high school. South Dakota Governor Larry Roden is discussing a new Senate bill that would rename the Department of Corrections to the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Senate Bill 192 passed through the legislature last week. In his weekly press conference this morning, Roden said that the change will allow the department to focus more on the rehabilitation of people being incarcerated. The governor claiming the rehabilitation is not possible in the current correction facilities.
The facility is Gothic, it's old, and it's decrepit. It was never designed for classrooms or mental health or addiction counseling. It was built to incarcerate, not to rehabilitate.
A bill for a new men's prison is currently working its way through the state legislature with a price tag of $825 million. Roden claims that the new prison will not only enhance safety for staff and inmates, but for all people of the state of South Dakota. Time now to check in with Chief Meteorologist Victor Perez, and we're singing the same tune today.
Yeah, more cold weather. We started off with temperatures down in the single digits and teens below zero up to our north, or by Canton 14 below, Yankton at 14 below as well. Sioux City a little bit warmer at 8 below, but we're keeping our eye on records across Siouxland as our previous record set in 1936 for, that's the wrong date, I'm not realizing, but for the day tomorrow it was set at 15 degrees below zero, and our forecast low tonight is at 16 below. So get ready for cold conditions that will feel even colder with the light breezes that are expected. I'll let you know more about that coming up. Tim?
A Winnebago, Nebraska woman has been convicted of second-degree murder and tampering with evidence after a nearly 5-day federal trial in Nebraska. 49-year-old Michelle Lee Marr was charged by a jury on Friday in Omaha. Back on March 12th of 2022, Marr contacted Winnebago EMS to report that the male victim at her residence was not waking up and requested an ambulance. EMS arrived and transported that victim to a local hospital, but due to the severity of that victim's injuries, he had to be flown to a hospital here in Sioux City. The victim then died from injuries the following day. A subsequent autopsy determined the cause of death was blunt force trauma, and the manner of death was classified as homicide. Marr had claimed to be passed out during the time of that incident, but evidence from Marr's phone contradicted her claims. Marr will be sentenced on June 5th and could face a maximum sentence of life in prison. The South Sioux City Fire Department is teaming up with Has Alert Safety Cloud to notify vehicles of emergencies. It's a unique new situation. This collision prevention service is available through Waze or Apple Maps, and it delivers real-time alerts to all drivers in the tri-state region when emergency services vehicles are in an active situation. South Sioux City Fire Chief Doug Koopman says that this not only helps with driver awareness, but also should help reduce collisions. We'll hear from Chief Koopman coming up on KCAU 9 News tonight at 6. Here in Sioux City, a ribbon cutting for one of the city's youngest business owners. Meet 17-year-old Lily Wilford. She became the proud owner of the Papa Murphy's Pizza Store last August, and today the Siouxland Chamber of Commerce officially welcomed Lily. Initially, Lily's parents, Kathy and Brad, were offered the business from a previous owner, but after watching Lily work at the store for 3 to 4 years, they told us they instead offered the opportunity to Lily.
When this opportunity presented itself, it got me excited, and it was something that I wanted to do. So we started looking in to see if this was even possible. I'm 17. Can a 17-year-old own a business? So there was definitely challenges and barriers and things that I had to overcome, and so many things I had to learn.
Even with roughly 5.5 months of experience now as an owner, Lily tells us that she's still learning something new every day.